morning, folks, and welcome in. It is Mornings at Meridian here on this Super Tuesday, March the 5th, 2024. Hope you're having a great start to your Tuesday morning. Of course, polls are now open all across the country, including our neighbors over in Alabama. They are voting today, so I hope you have a good trip to the polls. And approaching 10 minutes into the 7 o'clock hour here on Mornings in Meridian. Our number, 601-485-9191. Of course, we'd love to hear from you out there here on this Super Tuesday. And, of course, we're online, WALTmeridian.com, Facebook Live. Good morning to our Facebook viewers this morning. Of course, X, YouTube, and the mobile app. And Rob hanging out with you here. As Zane would say, the button monkey is back. Button. And he's not pushing any buttons, but he could push your buttons in other ways. That's Charles Frazier.
I ain't pushing no buttons.
I ain't pushing no buttons.
No darn buttons.
How are you this morning?
I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing great, and big day across the country.
It is, yeah.
It is super.
It's a super day.
It is Super Tuesday.
Super Tuesday.
So polls are now open next door in Alabama. So they're going to be headed off to vote today.
Yeah.
So we'll take a look at one of the Alabama ballots coming up this morning. They do have a very confusing initiative on their ballot today over in Alabama that we'll kind of dig into, because I read the language on the actual ballot. It's amazing when you read the language on a ballot. It's like, huh?
What are they talking about?
You got to kind of dig deep into some of this stuff.
Okay.
But they got a few things on the Republican ballot and the Democratic ballot over in Alabama today that we'll look at. Also, the Board of Supervisors, they're on the agenda for today as they all just went,
You called us out. Talk about the elections.
The city's like, focus on them, focus on them, focus
Don't
on
talk
them.
about us.
Oh no, city, you're not out. You're not. No. Your meeting's today at 9, so you're not out of the woods by any stretch.
Wow.
So we'll go over that city council agenda. Of course, the Board of Supervisors met yesterday, and Ward Calhoun, the sheriff, did speak yesterday at the Board of Supervisors meeting, just kind of about the shooting that happened. Not really a whole lot more details, just about the training that his deputies go through, and we'll talk more about that. So, but it was brought up yesterday at the Board of Supervisors meeting there at the government complex.
It is the, yes.
Yeah, we have to say that now. The government complex.
It is complex. Okay.
Yeah, we're still paying for it, too.
Yeah, we will be for a long time.
Exactly.
So, sure is fancy.
Oh, but it's a nice building.
It's beautiful.
My garbage fee.
Garbage. That's kind of weird.
Don't start the garbage fee thing.
You
I know I started it. I'm just telling myself. I'm
repeated.
speaking to myself.
Okay.
Don't start
Don't even
it.
mention garbage and doubling the fees, right?
Skip.
Okay.
Pick the
Whatever.
scab there. So, and of course we'll look more in depth at Super Tuesday today. What do we got? 15, 16 states.
I think it's 15 states and the Samoa.
And the Samoa. So I guess you can throw.
They're good cookies. The Girl Scout cookies, the Samoas.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they named a country after them. It's amazing.
I haven't gotten a single Girl Scout cookie this year.
Wow.
I'm doing good.
Okay, yeah. I was
Sort
going
of.
to say sorry about that, but if you think that's
No,
good, then okay. Good for you. No,
We'll deliver some up there right
like
now.
$60 worth.
Oh,
And they're not cheap, and there's some shrinkflation going on with that.
What?
Yes.
What are they doing?
Cookies. The cookies are actually, I think they're smaller. Maybe they just seemed bigger when I was a kid, but they seem like they're smaller and there's less of them. But understandable. It's for a good cause. So
I don't
fair
care.
enough.
That's blasphemy.
Okay.
Don't get me started, man.
Justify it.
Whatever you doing?
Anyway, okay.
Yeah,
Still tasty.
yeah.
Tasty treats.
I always love I've seen the meme on Facebook. It's a Girl Scout. She's got all the cookies on the table and kind of stacked behind her. And it says, I was doing really good until I saw my dealer again.
Yep, that's right.
The Girl Scout cookie
pusher.
dealer. The pusher of the cookies.
Oh, man.
I've always said the most savage thing that can happen with a Girl Scout selling cookies is going outside like a fitness center.
Of course.
And selling the cookies. That's the worst thing that can happen.
Yeah.
I'm going to go work out today. And then when you leave, there she is like, you want to buy some girl? But please, it's for
A
good.
good cause. Oh, fine.
Fine, give me Thin Mints and Samoas, and yeah, I'll take some of those too.
All right, that'll be $35.
What?
Yeah.
It's kind of like the Boy Scouts and the popcorn too. So, but
yeah. Anyway, Right, I know. Sold that for years.
Exactly.
Like, here's
So-
your $10 bag of popcorn. Thank you. All right, and run away quickly.
That goes very quickly.
Yeah.
By the way.
Wow. It was good popcorn, but it's just like no, that was it.
601-485-9191 as we get rolling here on Super Tuesday. And a good way to get yourself rolling is with a new Toyota up in Philadelphia at Doc's Toyota. Of course, you can always shop online before the dealership opens over at docstoyota.com.
Even when they're open, you can shop online. Of course, it's easy to make that short trip up to Philadelphia and go see them for that 5-star service. And, of course, their sales team is second to none. Go see them. They're on Highway 16 West in Philadelphia, Mississippi. Or, as Rob said, check them out online, docstoyota.com. They list all of their 2024 inventory, the Camrys, Tacomas, 4Runners, Highlanders, Tundras, Corollas, you name it. If Toyota makes it, Doc's Toyota has plenty of them. And, of course, they've got a huge selection of pre-owned inventory. Rigorous multi-point Toyota inspection process, so you know you're purchasing a good quality pre-owned vehicle. Check them out, Highway 16 West in Philadelphia, Mississippi, or check them out online, docstoyota.com. Give them a call, 601-600-3786. And there are many deals out there. In fact, every car dealer has a deal. Well, I'll tell you what, there is no deal like a Doc's deal. Doc's Toyota, Philadelphia, Mississippi.
So we mentioned that Alabama is one of those 15 states that are going to vote today.
Roll Tide.
And, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Is Nick Saban on the ballot today?
I'm voting for him.
Right in.
Yeah, exactly.
But there is an amendment that is appearing on the Alabama ballot today. And I'm just going to read this story from WAFF over in Huntsville. And it reads here, Alabama's primary election, of course, being held today with one amendment on the ballot that's needing folks to really do their research on here, and it's kind of late in the game here the day of. There's only one statewide proposed constitutional amendment on the ballot, and political experts say it may help local bills pass more efficiently through the state legislature. Now, the wording found on the ballot has left a lot of folks with a lot of unanswered questions regarding the amendment. Now, this is the way the ballot is going to read today in Alabama. It said, proposing an amendment to the Constitution of Alabama of 2022 to amend Section 71.01, authorizing the legislature to sign and transmit local laws or constitutional amendments before the transmission of basic appropriations. That's the way the bill's going to read. So when when you hear that, you're like, say what?
I don't think I'm just not going to mark anything on that one.
Yeah, Section 71.01 currently requires the state legislature to approve budgets before other bills or business. Former political science professor Wayman Burke says, no relation to Roger.
Oh.
We never know, though.
Okay.
Says that it is not necessarily the case in today's legislative sessions. To bypass this, the legislature now passes a budget isolation resolution, or BIR, which requires a supermajority vote to move forward. A yes vote on Amendment 1 today would take away the requirement of a BIR to allow local bills to be addressed immediately. And, of course, no, obviously, would go the opposite direction. So that's on the Alabama ballot today, which still is going to confuse a lot of voters out there.
Yeah, I'm so confused about it.
Because they're going to go into the ballot booth or whatever and go to mark and like, what the heck is this?
Well, yeah. I mean, and I think most people would be like, well, I don't understand it. If it ain't broke, you know what? I'm voting no. I don't want to amend anything.
Yeah. So,
unless the marketing of, I hadn't seen any, sort of ads, promoting it or, kind of encouraging people to vote against it. But I wonder if there's any sort of marketing campaign over there to get people to vote yes for it. Obviously, there's some people who sponsored the bill that want that to go through. But
yeah, because we've seen plenty of Roger Wicker ads here. Roger Wicker ads. Yeah. Real quick, hang on 1 second here. Computer's running kind of slow this morning here. I was going to look up. I had a sample ballot ready for you from Sumter County, but for some reason the computer's not wanting to cooperate here. So that's going to be on the ballot today. Of course, I did see the sample ballot earlier this morning for Alabama, where most of the names that have dropped out are going to appear on the ballot because obviously that was all passed on through not too long ago. So yes, Nikki Haley, Donald Trump are going to be the two main ones on there, but Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, and all the others are going to appear on the Alabama ballot today.
Okay.
So, but I thought I had this. Let me go to just a Pickens County here. I'm just going to grab a random county here. Looking at a sample ballot for that particular county, of course. The candidate for the Republican Party, you've got all those candidates on there. There is a race for the 7th Congressional District today, Republicans. You got Christian Horn and Robin Lideker. And for the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court on the Republican ballot today, you got Sarah Stewart and Byron Taylor. And then there is several Court of Appeals races. They're going to be in several counties around the state. And when you flip over to page 2 of the ballot, it's toward the end. That's where the initiative is. There's proposed statewide amendment number 1 is the way it's listed. Of course, a simple yes or no on that particular ballot. And like I said, a lot of these races in a lot of these different counties, like I just picked Pickens County out of the thin air right here, they have a lot of Board of Education seats that are up for grabs in certain counties around the state of Alabama. So that's the way things are going to look. But right now in Alabama, the way their presidential primary looks today, these are the way the names are listed. It's Ryan Brinkley, Chris Christie, Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, David Stuckenberg.
Okay.
And Donald J. Trump. And then uncommitted is listed on the ballot today on the Republican side. So that's, of course.
Now, is that standard? They always have an uncommitted both sides? Or?
That's a heck of a question because that's become really to the forefront, especially in Michigan on the Democratic side.
Sure.
In their primary a few days ago, they had that big chunk of votes. Was it like 100,000 that voted uncommitted? Of course, that was kind of a protest, for Palestinian causes and whatnot due to what's happening over there overseas.
You wonder if that's going to hold true during the main election. I doubt it, but I think they'll probably vote for Biden or whoever the nominee is. Where the presumptive nominee, of course, is Biden. But anyway.
Okay, I just pulled up Sumter County now. Looks like over in Sumter, which is right next door to us, that would be Livingston and some other areas. Of course, you got presidential stuff. That 7th Congressional District, you got Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals, Judge Place 2, Criminal Appeals Judge Place 2. So a lot of judge seats on a lot of the ballots around the state in Alabama today. And, of course, got Public Service Commissioner on there and, of course, the ballot initiative that we mentioned earlier over in the state of Alabama. So pretty simple ballot outside of the language a lot of folks are not going to understand about that amendment that is on the ballot today in Alabama. So Alabama's polls are now open. I know Maine opened earlier this morning as well. East Coast is voting right now.
Vermont, Virginia, North Carolina.
North Carolina's open.
That's a big one.
So that's going to be a big state today. It's always a big swing state when we get to November. But East Coast is voting right now. Texas is voting today as well. That'll be a big one. That's a ton of delegates right there. And, of course, California later on today, which a lot of Southern California and some districts are going to be pretty Trump heavy, I would think, today. And remember, a lot of these contests today, they're either going to be open primaries, some of them are closed, some of them have different rules. I mean, it's going to be confusing kind of watching all this as we go because not all of the states are like, say, the way that New Hampshire was or the way that South Carolina was where it's open primary.
Sure.
Some of these, I think it's like maybe
be registered. Variety of different issues.
2 or 3 are going to be closed where it's just how you're registered.
That's how you vote.
You got to vote. It's not crossing over party lines to vote in the primary. So, but of course, Super Tuesday, we'll be watching it today. Trump spoke yesterday. Of course, I guess we'll go ahead and talk about this. It's been talked about in nauseum yesterday. We knew it would be. The Supreme Court ruling that came down yesterday, 9-0.
Unanimous. And that was the surprise, I think, was that all of them unanimously said that he had every right to be on the ballot. Or that they had no right to remove him, however you want to look at that.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is, just reading some of the opinions of the justices, I mean, it was pretty slam dunk, I think, across the board. Even the liberal justices were kind of like, because has he been charged with being an insurrectionist? No.
But even charged, I mean, okay, but there is no conviction of that. So, and it's the conviction of that would preclude him from being on the ballots. Not just people talking about it in the press.
Yeah, one of the Supreme Court justices, I'm not sure if this was Amy Coney Barrett or one of the others that had the opinion on this. An evolving electoral map could dramatically change the behavior of voters, parties, and states across the country in different ways and at different times. Going on to say here, the disruption would be all the more acute and could nullify the votes of millions and change the election result. If Section 3 enforcement were attempted after the nation has voted, nothing in the Constitution requires that we endure such chaos arriving at any time or different times up to perhaps beyond the inauguration. So when you read those lines right there, it goes on to say up until the inauguration day. So you have the election. Something happens after that. They're kind of setting a precedence all the way up until January as well. So, but and now the Democrats, there's some in the House that want to try to draft legislation to get Trump thrown off the ballot and still attempting after the 9-0 vote yesterday. So this is only going to just...
I think they're grasping at straws at that point. They're just trying to do whatever they can. But, I think this is going to have the opposite effect of what they intended, and that was to kind of highlight that or question his legitimacy in order to be on the ballots. And I think that other people look at that and say, wait a minute, 9-0? You got to be kidding me. I mean, they are trying to railroad him, and maybe there is some legitimacy to what he's been saying about being railroaded and persecuted. And so I think that instead of people looking at that and questioning his legitimacy, they're going to look at the other way, and the pendulum's going to swing towards Trump's favor. That's just my gut feeling, is that people say, wait, here we go again. Will you stop it already? Leave the man alone, let the election play out, and then we'll see what happens.
It's going to be interesting to see how Colorado rolls today, because obviously this decision yesterday involved Colorado.
Yeah.
And, of course, that's basically going to tell Maine and Illinois and others that have been considering doing what they want to do, hey, listen, can't do it with a federal election with a federal candidate. They've said the Supreme Court has ruled on this, so we go right ahead. But that's been my whole point from the beginning on this. Why are you so scared to let the voters decide?
Yeah.
Let the voters decide this. What are you worried about? Biden won last time. Does that mean something fishy might have went on that you might believe might not be able to be taken care of this time around?
Well, obviously, there's a big question whether Biden can beat Trump. And so, obviously, they want to do whatever they can to prevent that from happening. So, you play dirty politics because that's the name of the game. There is no clean politics anymore. And so they're just kind of doing whatever they can legally. They've got everybody working on it to see what they can do to prevent him from being on the ballot. But I wonder how many of the Nikki Haley voters there have been. Obviously every primary every caucus has had some Nikki Haley voters.
Sure,
so how many of those were kind of, in a sense, saying, I'm going to vote for Nikki because I'm not even sure if Donald's going to be on the Trump or on the ballot. And so to kind of just... I question whether or not he can be. Well, now it seems that, okay, that's not an issue anymore. So how many of those are going to say, that's fine, I'm going to go ahead and throw my support behind Trump?
Well, and two, I look at some of these open primaries. Some of these numbers get a little skewed in my mind because when you have Democrats crossing over and voting Republican, who are they going to vote between those two?
Yeah,
they're going to vote for Haley
right.
all the time. So that's, when you look at New Hampshire, I mean, even though she got just throttled in that primary, just like South Carolina, if you take the true Democratic voters out of the process that crossed over, if you take that vote completely off the table, it could have been 50% in South Carolina, which would have been just awful for Nikki Haley. So does she stay in after tonight? That's my biggest question going ahead. I mean, I don't see her winning a state tonight. If she does, I wouldn't think no more than one. That would be a shocker even to me if she won just one state tonight.
Well, yeah, and I think that I kind of think it'll be a clean sweep like you. But that coupled with the Supreme Court ruling on Monday, are those the two things, Super Tuesday being one of them, even though it's 16 different primaries, that with the unanimous decision by the Supreme Court, is that enough for her to say, you know what, he's going to be on all the ballots? Because she was kind of, I think she was kind of riding that, thinking
banking on that.
Maybe he won't even be on the ballots, and so maybe I'll be able to kind of squeeze in there, just kind of slide into that spot if he's removed from that, and she would be the presumptive, second place winner, and therefore move into first place if he's essentially disqualified. But it looks like that won't happen, so I don't know. I don't know how she can really legitimize that, but she has before, so who knows? I mean, it's really a roll of the dice with her. It's not very predictable.
Well, if Trump does sweep tonight, he won't get quite to that delegate threshold he needs.
It's a foregone conclusion.
By next Tuesday, when we go to the polls in some other states on March the 12th, that'll pretty much clinch the delegates he needs to do. In my opinion, this is just my opinion, for whatever they're worth. If the writing continues to be on the wall tonight, because when you have all these states that start to close on the East Coast, like North Carolina, Maine, of course, Alabama, and others, when the numbers start coming in and she's just getting further and further behind, the speech is going to be the big determining factor. If she gets up there tonight and she does a classy speech like, hey, listen, we had a great run. We want to wish President Trump all of the best going ahead. We need to unite the party. I think a lot of people that have looked kind of poorly at Nikki Haley over the past few weeks and be like, hey, why is she staying in? Why is she staying in? Kind of look at the way they did Ron DeSantis when he dropped out back in January. He was like, hey, I throw my support behind Trump. We had a good run, but I'm going to go back to Florida, be the governor, and we need to unite the party. If that happens tonight, I think that will buy her some good points maybe down the road. Now, if she stays in after tonight, after getting clean swept tonight, then who knows what goes ahead. But she needs to look at the longer picture down the road instead of the here and now, I think. So
I agree. I mean, I think she does need to do that, but what will she do? And what will her supporters, her financial backers tell her,
Well, and the thing that Nikki Haley has done to herself and backed herself in a corner. I don't know if you saw the interview back over the weekend, but all the Republican candidates have been asked to sign that pledge with the RNC, and she had signed the pledge to be behind whoever the Republican candidate was. Well, she's kind of wavering on that because of Trump. Now, Trump didn't sign it period into paragraph, whoever was going to be, so you can look at it however way you want to. So going to be interesting to see how it all plays out tonight. What are your thoughts, folks? 601-485-9191. We'll be back. All right, welcome back into Mornings in Meridian. Alan Clark from Dire Straits celebrating a birthday today, 72. One of the longest intros of all time to a song.
Yeah. It gets there eventually. Yeah.
Also, Eddie Grant from the music world celebrating his 76th birthday, so a little Electric Avenue maybe. So, also Eva Mendes from the acting world. Of course, she was in Training Day and one of the Fast and Furious movies. She is 50 today, and Pastor Joel Osteen has a birthday today. He is 61.
Okay.
So, looking at some other birthdays
Fly
here.
somewhere or in his private jet, probably.
I don't know.
Okay,
that works. Former football star for the Dallas Cowboys, Michael Irvin, has a birthday today.
Okay.
He is 58 years old, and it's just a handful of the birthdays on the list today. I don't see any other notable ones up here as I kind of scan through. That's pretty much it, the most notable ones. I'm not going to dig through all of the C-minus names like we usually do and bore you with that. So 601-485-9191. Hey, let's thank one of our other great local advertisers here on the program. Folks, we always encourage you, buy local and support these great businesses here locally because they love our community. They love Meridian. They love Lauderdale County. And can't say enough about our next advertiser. And who do we got next on the list?
We got Martin Roofing.
Because I'm a satisfied customer like a lot of you folks.
Yeah, and you see the signs all over town. They're not running for office. They're just running to fix your roof. Give them a call today, 601-485-5920. They'll be happy to help with all of your roofing needs. They'll come by, give you a free estimate, and inspect your roof for damage. Call Doug Martin Jr. or Doug Martin Sr., and they will get your roofing done right. Been doing it over 30 years now. Locally owned and operated, and, of course, licensed in the state of Mississippi. Taking pride and standing behind their work from start through cleanup, and I mean cleanup. It's like they were never there except for you got a brand new roof, and it don't leak. Of course, they're a member of the Better Business Bureau. Give them a call today, 601-485-5920. That is Martin Roofing.
Looking at some polling going into Super Tuesday today, and we'll get into some local news coming up, but looking at polls just for a handful of states, according to ABC, right now there is according to this poll, nearly 37-point difference between Trump and Haley in Massachusetts, 45-point difference in North Carolina, nearly 50 in Virginia, over 50 in California, 64 in Texas, and nearly 70 in Tennessee. So I think he's doing well.
Wow. With a margin of error of like 5 points. So, yeah. Okay.
So it's looking like, just looking at the polling, that's just from ABC, but I imagine a lot of the other polls are going to be very, very similar going into tonight. But it's kind of trending toward a sweep tonight.
Well, and it's kind of ironic because there's a site that lists the closest races, Utah and Vermont. Utah, he has a lead by 27 points.
Oh, my God, there's cracks in the campaign.
It's a nail-biter. And Vermont, a lead of 30 points. So, and those are the two closest states they're anticipating. Now, things change. You know, polls are not always accurate, as we know. However, those points are ridiculous.
Could you see it?
I mean, that's like Alabama playing, you know, well,
Mississippi State.
No, I wasn't going to go there.
I did.
Southern Miss under Ellis Johnson. Anyway.
California right now at 54 point difference. If he were to win tonight, say by 30-something.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, look. There's cracks in the campaign.
Yeah.
I told you.
Right.
And that'll be the headline tonight.
And that will put him at 60% to 30% or something like that.
They'll still...
told you.
A lot of the media outlets will be like, oh, there's people not... Blah, blah, you know.
I don't think, you know, you say that and they usually do act that way, but I don't think they can. I mean, I really don't think I think they just got to go, okay, you know, it's a foregone conclusion.
I think the decision...
That's what it is.
That decision yesterday from the Supreme Court, right before Super Tuesday, I think it's going to energize it. I mean, when this stuff happens, when a court case happens, when something else happens in the media, that just puts more juice into the campaign, I mean, it's just unbelievable. But, hey, you know, if I'm Trump and his camp, you know what I say? Keep on.
Bring it on.
Just keep on
keep
doing
acquitting
it.
me. Yeah.
Let's go to the phone line this morning. Hey, caller, welcome in.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Morning.
What? What the heck is this?
Yeah, this is Roger B. checking in here this morning.
I'm sorry. Do we know a Roger B?
Right.
Long time listener. First time caller.
Long time, first
You
time.
know, I expect everything you dish out. There's no problem.
Oh, there's much more. Believe me, we have the
There's
unexpected
gotta be
too.
much more.
Shall the teacher mark you down for attendance tomorrow?
Tomorrow. Okay.
Oh, yes. Tomorrow, the teacher. You can mark me down for attendance today.
I don't think
Yeah,
so.
there you
Doesn't
go.
count. Doesn't count.
Yeah.
Nope.
I don't think the payroll department's
Yeah,
going to roll
sorry.
with that one. Yeah.
I really can't believe I'm sitting in a hotel room watching you guys. This is just unbelievable.
Got nothing better to do, huh?
Well, I've got a particular reason to call, a good reason, and I'll tell you about that in a minute. But it's let's just go yay Supreme Court, right?
Yeah,
Yay, that's
exactly.
right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yay, Supreme 9-0.
I was going to wear my Supreme Court shirt, but I couldn't find it. It's at the dry cleaner.
No, before I left town yesterday, I visited with one of my clients, and I just wanted to give a shout out about them because they are having a open house today, and that's Wilson Saw and Outdoor Power right there on Highway 11 south, right behind Waters International. Today is a very special day. They're having the kind of the spring open house. They're going to have deals on X-Mark mowers, those great zero-turn mowers, and they have a huge inventory of steel equipment, chainsaws, trimmers, edgers, sprayers. I mean, you name it, they've got it. If it's made by Steel. Steel even makes their own zero-turn mower now. So I just want to get the word out there and invite everybody to go down there and say hi to all the folks at Wilson Saw and Outdoor Power and enjoy their spring deals because I guess not where I'm at right now, but the grass is growing back in Mississippi.
Yeah, I've seen a few lawnmowers rolling in the last couple of days. Well, not going to be rolling today because it's going to be thunderstorms later on. But, lawnmowers are definitely rolling. I got my zero turn from Wilson as well. They do a great job servicing the zero turn as well. So good folks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that is a good point because they have an awesome service department. They'll take care of everything they sell. In fact, I used to try to sharpen my little chainsaws, you know, the little chains on the saw, and I'm like, nah. I just I put it in the car and I take it to them and say, please sharpen, thank you, and happily go on my way.
Roger, as we talk to you right now, Nikki Haley is doing an interview over on Fox and Friends right now. We were talking about Nikki a few minutes ago, and I told Charles, I think the best thing that she could do tonight, it's looking like it's going to be a clean sweep for President Trump tonight. Do a classy speech tonight. Hey, we had a great run. Appreciate the support by everybody, all of our donors, everybody that worked on the ground. But we're going to bow out, and we need to unite the party and get behind President Trump.
I agree with that. I tell you, she kind of has hinted that she's not going to make a move in that direction until after Super Tuesday.
Well,
So,
I think she needs to do it tonight. I think it would be a great opportunity in prime time tonight. I don't know when, because you still got a lot of states on the West Coast and, of course, Alaska mixed in there. But, of course, the big delegates are going to be Texas and a lot of these states on the East Coast. I think it would be in her best interest to do that because, like I told Charles, I think that will buy her some good points down the road for something else.
Well, and if she doesn't, it almost appears like a spoiled brat kind of. I'm not.
I'm the ultimate Karen. Not going to do this to me.
Right. And so, conversely, although she would get some political capital out of doing that, I think that it would be very negative and go into the future for the foreseeable term or foreseeable time that there would be a very negative connotation.
And also, according to NBC News this morning, Michelle Obama has said, I am not running for president.
Who? Okay.
That's according to NBC News earlier this morning. She said, I am not running for president.
Okay.
I bet she probably said it just like that too.
I'm not. I'm not doing
running for president.
had the finger up and all that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So
not going to be doing that. I'm
keep
not
looking for
either.
new chefs.
I'm not going to run either, so it's fine.
There we go. So we got all that settled. So very good.
Good.
Well, I just wanted to call in and just kind of give you all a shout out. I want to mention one other thing about our friends at Wilson. My father-in-law had his mower picked up in service. They do have they will actually come and pick up your equipment and bring it in and service it. So they have that available as well.
Yeah, they do a good job of that. Fantastic.
But
So-
anyhow, I think I'll let you guys continue the show, and I'll just get out of the way, and I may catch a little more Z's maybe.
There you go. Well,
All
I guess
right.
we will see you
Yeah.
tomorrow, sir.
Go back to bed. Yeah.
I'll see you there tomorrow, and yeah, y'all looking good on this this
Oh,
here
you stop
streaming
that.
thing y'all doing there.
Flirting
Y'all
with
looking
us.
good.
Oh, yep.
Y'all just looking fit
All
and
right.
fiddle.
Y'all have a good day.
See
All
you.
right, Roger B.
There we go. Raja Book checking in from Parts Unknown this morning. So.
Where was he? He was in jail. I'm not sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyway.
we didn't officially ask that. I didn't want
Should
to. I didn't want to go there. I wasn't gonna. I wasn't gonna say. Wasn't gonna text Ward Calhoun and see if that was the case or
Right.
not.
You're in county lockup. What's the deal?
If he was in lockup
Pull
or
the
not.
phone.
So,
Right.
but Roger
Brought
B.
me a bologna sandwich. Hey,
So,
it's breakfast time.
So Roger will be back in with us tomorrow.
That's
but,
what he says.
Yeah, Trump was on Fox and Friends earlier. Nikki Haley's doing her interview right now. As they're showing a polling place up in Virginia right now. As it's got a pretty good line of folks that are going in to vote right now up in that state. So yeah, all these states. It's gonna be tough to keep up with everything tonight. Bill Hemmer's big board is going to be blowing up tonight.
Yeah. Well, I think with the recent, visits to the border, I mean, obviously time right before Super Tuesday, but that has got a lot of attention on that biggest issue. I think that is the biggest issue that faces us. And, of course, it's tied in with the economy and with crime. And so it all kind of comes together with the border and all of these illegal visitors. Is that what we're calling it out? Visitors.
Georgia's not.
Guests.
Georgia's not today. I think they're next week.
Okay. With us.
Yeah, I think so. And
Okay.
that's going to be interesting to see how those numbers play out next week.
Well, it really depends whether or not Nikki Haley's still in it.
Yeah.
And so,
well,
I mean,
she's still going to be on the ballot.
Well, of course,
so,
but if
yeah.
she says I'm no longer, a viable
Yeah.
candidate, then that does alter how many people would vote for her.
Yeah.
No matter regardless of her support.
But I think the one state I want to see how it all rolls out, Colorado, after the decision yesterday. So let's go back to the phone line. Hey, caller, good morning.
Good morning. I just read an article a few minutes ago by Jamie Raskin, where he's not giving up yet. He's trying to use Congress to remove Trump from the ballot still, and he's going to work with several Democrats today to try to pass something where Trump committed whatever they call it?
Insurrection.
Insurrection, yeah.
So he's trying now to go through Congress and use Congress to remove Trump from the ballot.
Yeah, I think he's working with Swalwell and a couple of others trying to get that to happen. I saw Byron Donalds earlier this morning. Of course, he's become a big name in the Republican Party. He said, you know what? Wasting their time again. They're not going to get the votes they need in the House or the Senate. They just won't leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is there's something is very strange going on. I don't know if it's got to do. It seems like it's a mix of American elitists and European elitists and the West Coast, the tech gurus and the northeasterner liberals, Martha's Vineyard, and they have given an order that there's something going on that they have to do right now, and that Trump would ruin their plans. And they won't give up at any cost to, even if it's unconstitutional, whatever it takes, for people not to get in their way of whatever they got going on, whether it's a Great Reset or whatever it could be. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
But something that's very, very bizarre. I follow politics since I was born, and my great uncle was the second longest U.S. congressman in history, U.S. history. And I have never seen anything like it. I just, they used to go out and eat lunch together, and they were friends, even though they disagreed on politics, Republicans and Democrats. But now it's just gotten to where it's just complete chaos and tyranny. It's sad to watch what America's going through right now.
Yeah, it's amazing that the decision comes down yesterday, 9-0. I mean, an ultimate slam dunk. In that particular case. And I saw the interview yesterday that the congressman had, and I was just like, leave it alone.
Right.
Just leave it alone. You lost.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Move on. It's it's in the hands of the voters. What are you so
Mm-hmm.
scared of? Oh, I know why you're so scared. Because your boss is looking pretty bad right now.
Yeah.
So
Well, they had one Democrat senator, I can't remember the name, if it was a he or she, but they basically said the Supreme Court was corrupt. And I'm thinking, even though you've got a unanimous decision with the liberal, very liberal justices, they still are calling it corrupt. It's just a never-ending circus up there. All the stuff they did with Liz Cheney and the Shut trial, where they didn't have anybody on to represent Trump, and then Ingron or whatever, that judge from New York, valuating his property at $18 million.
Yeah.
I was looking at property values in Palm Beach, and there was a house that was smaller than mine, like 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, on a quarter acre in Palm Beach, was selling for $3.2 million. And I'm thinking he's got 270 acres of prime real estate on the water with a world-class golf course, and they're saying $18 million. It's just...
Yeah, unbelievable. Unbelievable stuff for sure. So, well, hey, we appreciate you checking in this morning.
Thank you.
All right, appreciate that. Yeah,
Yeah.
601-485-9191. Yeah, that case with the property value. I mean, that right there alone is
so many weird things. And he's right though, as far as the bigger picture and what's going on with all of these entities that are kind of trying to prevent Trump from being on the ballot, and even other countries. But and my gut feeling is that Trump has created this wave of kind of nationalism. You look at Argentina with their new president and kind of the polling throughout Europe. And, of course, the fear is, especially in Germany, when you've got some kind of nationalist groups starting back up. Well, we've been through that before. But, I don't think that this is really relevant in that regard. I don't think that there's any concern of a rise of the Nazi Party or anything that we saw before. I think it's more of just people saying, wait a minute. This is who we are. That we want to protect our culture, and we've been inundated with a lot of migrants, as they have been in Germany and various other European countries as well. And so they kind of want to say, wait a minute, let's take a step back. And while we welcome these people, we have welcomed too many, and so now it's been disruptive for us. A lot of crime, a lot of issues like that have developed, and so I think we're seeing this kind of backlash and this swing back to this sort of nationalistic type of candidates and also political leaders.
It's
being elected and so on.
it's unbelievable. I keep going back to this issue over and over again. When you look at these states that have already had either their caucus or their primary, of course, Iowa, New Hampshire, and South Carolina, polls are thrown at us all the time by the news media. I mean, everybody's got their poll, the Siena poll, Politico, Wall Street Journal, every publication's got one. But when you start digging deep into the issues, the economy, inflation, that was always kind of right at the top of the list. But it's amazing. I've said this so many times on the program that immigration, the border, is number one across the board with everyone right now.
But
and it's unbelievable.
And the reason is because it encompasses all of those issues.
Yeah.
It encompasses the economy and crime and security and our well-being as a country. But also there's, I wouldn't say a cultural war, but I think people feel like, wait a minute, we identify as Americans because of the value system that we have created in this country. And that's very important to us. That's kind of our national identity, and that's our group identity. And it's being diluted and changed by people who are coming from another country, and they're not buying into what we're doing.
Yeah.
Whereas many other groups have in the past, every other group has in the past. They've kind of embraced our culture and said, yes, this is what it means to be an American. Even if they retain a lot of their own original culture, they understand that it's capitalism and it's working hard and it's the American dream. And now all of that is being kind of diluted into this sort of socialist government handout type of system, and that's not who we are. And so I think that people feel very threatened as a country, as to where we're going to go and where we're going to be and what's going to happen to our children and grandchildren and what kind of country are they going to live in. And it's not the country that we envisioned for them, nor the one that we grew up in. So I think that there's bigger issues at play as well, and as well as the economy and crime, which are directly influenced by this our illegal visitors, as they like to say, or just visitors now.
And folks, don't forget sanctuary cities. Mississippi's got one. Jackson. Jackson is a sanctuary city. It's not talked about enough, but it is a sanctuary city here in our state.
Interesting.
When you see the list that goes through news channels, Newsmax has done it, and so has Fox. They scroll a list of the sanctuary cities. Of course, a lot of the blue states that you would expect to have a lot of sanctuary cities.
Mm-hmm.
When they go to Mississippi, there's Jackson.
Okay.
And Jackson's how far from Meridian? Not too far.
Not too far, but yeah, I mean, Jackson police can't keep up with the crimes that are being committed there anyway. So
Thanks,
I mean,
Capitol Police.
You want to keep now. You want to arrest people for being illegal. I mean, yeah, forget it. Just try to get the other criminals off the street.
Exactly. So, but yeah, that's just another problem for them to figure out. And
but to promote it as a sanctuary city doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
You're inviting people who now and not all of these illegal immigrants are criminals. You know,
Yeah.
let's establish that. But we're not vetting them,
Yeah.
and that's our major failure.
That's the issue I have is the vetting right there.
And let some who are legitimate refugees and things like that, but don't just keep the borders open.
Yeah.
You know?
Michelle over on Facebook says, amazing how they keep trying to keep Trump off the ballot because of a crime he's never been convicted of. And that's
never even charged
He's
with.
never been charged with it, never even talked about
Right.
it. The word insurrection has been thrown around so much.
Only because that's in the Constitution.
Because of what? The 14th Amendment.
Yes, because the Civil War, which was an insurrection, clearly.
I mean, you know,
But I mean, come on.
At this point, you have to laugh at it. It's so hysterical. So
It's the only reason they use that word.
Exactly.
Is because that's how it was termed. In the
Yeah,
Constitution.
exactly. 601-485-9191 here on Mornings of Meridian. Got a lot of local stories to get into coming up next hour of the program. Board of Supervisors had their meeting yesterday talking about ball field leases. Community Development Club baseball leagues are gearing up for a big season coming up, so we'll talk more about that coming up. Also, the City Council is going to be having their meeting this morning at 9 o'clock. We'll go over that agenda with you once again coming up and get into some other stories. But let's take one more phone call before we get into a Fox News break. Hey, caller, good morning. Welcome in.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Hey, there he is.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. You're on a roll today.
Yeah, I know. We're rolling today.
Nikki Haley, you want to know why she's staying in the race, in my opinion? She's making a name, a reputation for herself for 4 years from now, because that's when she'll have a better chance of becoming the nominee for the president of the United States for the Republican Party.
Right.
That's why I think she's staying in it.
Yeah, I just think if she gets swept tonight, she just needs to bow out gracefully. I think it'd be in her best interest.
Well, you know, of course, she's not going to make it. That's obvious with the way the vote's been going. But that's the only reason I see she would even consider staying in, even at this late date.
Right.
Well, I think you're right.
Making her name well known before the people, so then 4 years from now they know who she is.
Yeah, I think you're right. But if she stays in beyond today, when it's a sweep for Trump, which is what we're thinking is going to happen, then I think that positive becomes a negative. And I think that people say, no, she just stuck around too long. If she bows out gracefully tonight, she does retain her political capital. And you're right. In 4 years, she does have a legitimate claim to it. But you know, if she stays in too long, then it's going to be, oh, she's back again. She never went away last time, and here she is again. Yeah.
Well, Mr. Benny, we got to run. We're right on top of a Fox News break, but hope everything's good up in Sucalina today.
Everything's perfect, and I hope everyone has a great day.
I will now.
Yes,
that's for sure.
We're going to need that all day long.
Super day, I
That's
think.
right. We're going to take a break for Fox News. We'll be back. welcome back into Mornings of Meridian, hour number 2 here on this Super Tuesday as we approach 12 minutes into the 8 o'clock hour. Our number, 601-485-9191. And for you folks watching on Facebook Live, you can see that number scrolling there at the bottom. Of course, we're on X and YouTube, online, WALTmeridian.com. And there's that brand new mobile app. If you haven't downloaded the mobile app yet, go do it wherever you get your apps. Just search WALT 102.1. You got Rob here pushing the buttons, and we got Charles Frazier.
Not doing anything. Just talking.
Just yik-yakking
Ain't
it.
no buttons to push over here.
Headline from Fox News a few seconds ago, Trump looks for knockout blow / Haley still fighting.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's your headline going into Super Tuesday today. So, but that was a pretty good bit of our first hour. Of course, Alabama voting today. 50 delegates up for grabs over in Alabama today. And, of course, I guess the biggest prize as far as delegates are concerned was California.
169, I think, and 161 for Texas. So those are the two biggies.
Those are the two big prizes today. And I'm just wondering, I know we've talked a lot about Super Tuesday. It's kind of a national holiday for Bill Hemmer over on Fox because of the big board.
Right.
The guy does a great job with that.
Sure.
He knows his stuff, but he's already up this morning working over on Fox.
Circling, marking, erasing,
I'm
and
like,
doing more.
Bill, we got a long day here.
Take it easy, buddy.
Get some rest.
Right.
You got a long day. Because what he does is he goes counties. He just does his research and
Dials
does a
it
great
in.
job with
I know
it. So, speaking of voting here in Mississippi, of course, we will vote next Tuesday, March the 12th. And if I didn't get this on the air today, she would probably come down here and give me a good, good tongue lashing.
Right, so we'd have to lock the door and be like, nobody's home.
Donna Dill Johnson.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely. This is the deadline week for in-person absentee voting. Again, all 82 circuit clerks are asking voters to look at their calendar to make sure they will be able to vote in their precinct on March the 12th. And the reason we say that, spring break is next week, and a lot of folks are going to be doing vacationing and going to the beach or whatever they're going to be doing next week. So if you're going to be out of town, you still have the availability to vote in-person absentee. State colleges are going to be closed next week, so a lot of folks are going to be on the roadways. Now, all circuit clerks' offices will be open this Saturday from 8 a.m. until noon to accommodate those voters who are unable to come by during regular office hours, which the circuit clerk's office is open from 8 until 5 during the weekday hours. And, of course, voters over the age of 65 are encouraged to go to their precinct locations, giving up the touch. And there's a long line with the Lauderdale County now having paper scannable ballots, whereas voters just walk in and walk out. Plus, if a mistake is made, voters can correct their ballot then and there. Now, it's very important to remember this, too. They are still located, the circuit clerk's office is still located in the old courthouse. They are not at the government complex. So if you need to vote absentee, if you're going to be out of town next week, spring break or whatever, you got to go to the old courthouse. They're not in the government complex just yet. And once again, that's in downtown Meridian there at the old courthouse. Just wanted to throw that out there, and we'll keep hammering that home throughout the week for you folks who want to vote absentee. So don't go to the government complex. They'll love to see you down there.
It's fancy.
You know, they want a check from you to pay a tax on something, but
Garbage bill.
the garbage bill.
Don't say it.
$168.
Dang.
Anyway, if you need to vote absentee, old courthouse building in downtown. So once again, they will be open Saturday 8 until noon to accommodate those folks who got a busy schedule during the week and can't make it by. So
definitely.
So we are a week away from voting here in Mississippi, but 15 other states around the U.S. of A. are voting today.
And Samoa. Don't forget the Samoans.
Don't forget Samoa.
Make great cookies.
Absolutely. So there you go.
All right. Enough about that.
Before we get to some local news this morning outside of Super Tuesday, we need to thank our friends down at Trucker Supply, Tool Central.
It is one-stop shop for all of your tools. They got Canipix tools like channel locks on steroids. They will pump you up. And, of course, a full room of Milwaukee tools. I mean, everything they made right here in the state of Mississippi. They ought to call them Mississippi tools, but, hey, whatever. We'll keep calling them Milwaukee tools, but you can buy them there, that's for sure. And, of course, you like Yeti, and who doesn't? They've got all kinds of Yeti mugs, coolers of every size, lunch boxes, even Yeti dog dishes. That's right. And they also have all the parts that you need. If you need a new hinge or a new lid or whatever that is, they've got them there at Trucker Supply. And if you're a pressure washer, or even if your wife tells you you need to be a pressure washer, well, the place to go is Trucker Supply and get a hot seat pressure washer, the best you can buy. You know where they are, 519 Highway 19 South, right across from the mall next to McDonald's. Go see them because, you can't leave there without getting anything. It's impossible because the stuff they have is just amazing. Trucker Supply, 519 Highway 19 South. Go see the cars and get some good tools.
Absolutely. Do have a city council meeting later on this morning at 9. Before we get into that agenda once again, we went over it yesterday, but in case you missed it, we'll go through it once again. But yesterday, Board of Supervisors had their Monday meeting. Mm-hmm. It's not bad, Board of Supervisors. JJ, Kyle, it's okay. We're just going to talk about a few things here.
We're just talking.
Sheriff Calhoun spoke at the meeting yesterday, of course, and he did mention about the shooting that occurred back on Friday.
Does he still have the mustache?
I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway. Ward, did you shave finally?
Shaved that thing off.
Did talk about the shooting with the deputy that happened on Friday evening, and he did say that his deputies trained for the worst and hope for the best, while they would prefer not to be involved in a shooting at all. Lauderdale County deputies are trained what to do in an event that a shooting happens. Of course, he said, quote, here in the meeting, "I certainly don't want this incident to have happened to begin with, but if they're going to happen, we're going to win."
Yeah.
I love that line.
Man.
We're going to win.
Echoes of one Billy Solly right there.
But just,
I mean, doesn't it sound like it, though? It sounds like Solly right there. That's awesome.
So that quote right there, Ward, I love it. We're going to win. And the way we do that is by making sure we're trained properly. Mm-hmm. That line with our sheriff's department, we're going to win in that situation. Trained law enforcement, I know they got good numbers. They're still looking for more folks as the sheriff's department, but the folks in green compared to the Meridian Police Department, just the confidence from the leadership saying, hey, we're going to win. We're going to continue to train. Right. Iron sharpens iron. We're going to continue to train to get better every single day. You love that stuff out of leadership right there. Boy, it's a vast difference between leadership here in the city and the county.
Sure, definitely. And it's all about training how to react in certain situations, and so you've got that muscle memory, and you know exactly what to do. It becomes instinctive almost at that point, and it's over and over and over and over again that you train for that.
So, but he did address So he did address that in the meeting yesterday. Of course, the deputy that was taken to a local emergency room did suffer the single gunshot wound to the arm, and of course, the passenger of the vehicle died at the scene. Yeah. Obviously, but I like that. We're going to win.
And no further details as far as who the deceased was and why he would be coming out of a vehicle with a gun and all that kind of stuff.
Still some more details, and of course we visit with the sheriff every third Tuesday of the month. So probably by that point, if we don't have any details that come out by then, he might be able to share some about that. But we'll kind of cross that bridge when we get there. But the big part of the meeting yesterday had to do with baseball leagues and baseball fields with the Board of Supervisors. Thomas Howard, another great article here by him in the paper today. Community Development Club baseball leagues are gearing up for a busy season. Summer ball's just around the corner. And the Lauderdale County Board of Supervisors Monday made sure teams will have places to play by approving the annual lease agreements for the fields. Now, supervisors each year are asked to approve agreements for field leases with Causeyville, Center Hill, Collinsville, Long Creek, and Wynot Community Development Clubs, as well as the Northeast Recreation Association and Secalina Community Association. In addition to providing the teams with places to play, the county also provides funding to help the community clubs with the expenses. So that's always been a traditional thing there. Supervisor Kyle Rutledge, who serves as the president of the Board of Supervisors, said he has had several club members ask when the county will make the funding available. When the supervisor's approval of the lease agreements, contracts can be signed by Rutledge and ready for presidents of the community clubs to come in and sign as well. Now, Board Attorney Lee Thagard said the county can disperse the money once the presidents have signed the leasing documents. Now, County Administrator Chris Lafferty, it's a challenge each year to get club presidents to come into the courthouse to sign the documents, but that is what needs to happen if they want the funding. Now, Road Manager Rush Mayat said he has been contacted by the West Lauderdale Youth Association about updating the board on their activities as well, because, they just got a new complex out there. Although not a community club, which are run through the Mississippi State University Extension Service, that association did receive assistance in this particular deal that they went through yesterday. And kind of going through the rest of the article right here, they did get some assistance out there on Gibson Road for the new complex. Now, supervisors Monday also approved a professional services agreement with PPM Consultants for environmental engineering assistance. Thagard said the county had previously had an agreement with PPM to help develop the county's new solid waste plan. Following a public hearing and a period of residents to submit comments, the county's solid waste plan was approved by the Board of Supervisors in March 2023 and submitted to the Mississippi Department of Environmental Quality for review. After a year of inactivity, Thagard said the plan is to starting to once again move forward, and the county will need PPM Consultants' help again. The new professional services agreement, he said, will stay valid for a period of 5 years. So that's kind of some of the big highlights from what happened there at the board meeting yesterday.
And something I didn't know, that the county actually kind of, I guess, subsidizes these ball fields. I would have thought that the enrollment fees, for baseball or soccer or whatever it is, would cover most of those. I guess they also pay for referees and things like that. So, but there was no dollar amount given as far as how much they contribute. Okay.
No dollar amount was given in that article by Thomas Howard, and I'm pretty sure the board or representative of the board, JJ, would give us all those details. I forgot to reach out to him yesterday. I got to do better by getting the Board of Supervisors on here representative, but we'll make an attempt on that. But yeah, that little education for me as well. Did not know that they did that.
I mean, it's a good cause, and it's great for kids
absolutely.
and that sort of thing. I just, my assumption was that all of the fees for, as I said, enrollment and all of the other fees, you got to buy the uniform, you got to buy everything
kind of
else.
like the
it would pay for I guess the fields, and that they would actually lease them from whatever entity would own the field.
I guess it would be like a community organization that oversees that. So, but hey, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. But no dollar amount given here of how much each organization gets. I'm pretty sure it's distributed evenly, I would think, amongst, because what
depends on usage and that sort of thing.
Yeah, the field leases are Causeyville, Center Hill, Collinsville, Long Creek, and Wynot Development Club, as well as Northeast Recreation Association and Sicalina Community Association.
We'll have to ask the mayor about that.
Yeah, get funding up there in Sicalina. So there you go. 601-485-9191 here on Mornings in Meridian. Before we get into the agenda for the City Council meeting today at 9, I need to thank our friends down at Purvis Business Machines. I got that beautiful showroom and, of course, online at gopurvis.com.
That's right. Jerry and Betty Purvis that started Purvis Business Machines in 1979. Wow, it's 44 years ago. So they've been doing it a long time. And, of course, the name of the game is copiers over there, but it also goes much beyond that. It goes into document management and connectivity. And they've got experts who can connect all of your devices to that one document management system. And so all you've got to do is pick up the phone and call them 601-693-COPY, or go to their great website, gopurvis.com, or go see them, 4505 Highway 39 North. They've got a wonderful showroom, very friendly folks, and they will be happy to help with all of your document management needs. What's great about Purvis is they have lease return color copiers. They're gently used. You can save up to 85% on those. Can't save up to 85% on anything these days except for copiers at Purvis Business Machines. And, of course, what I really like is their motto: service, not excuses. Since 1979, you're going to get a lot of service, but you'll never get an excuse.
City Council meeting today, actually in a little over 30 minutes. Well, it's scheduled for 9.
Okay, maybe around 9.
9:10, 9:15. Okay. I'm just
somewhere close to that.
I got to stop that.
Okay.
Scheduled 9 o'clock meeting this morning. There at City Hall. And, of course, we talked about the agenda that's on tap for today. Of course, the two big items, one of those being the old police station. There is a couple of items in the consent agenda today. There is one, an order authorizing an amendment approval of the LBK Architects for professional services concerning the former police station. And there's also a resolution on the table today in support of a revitalization of the old police station site. Of course, you mentioned yesterday a lot of that, the word on the street is having to do with maybe MSU.
Yeah, that's my understanding. Which I think that's great for downtown development and for the university as they kind of shift things towards a downtown campus. Obviously, going to need housing for students and other facilities, whether that's a student gathering center or I don't know quite student union or what the plans are. But that obviously would be presented by LPK today, and we can see exactly what they intend to do with it. The old police station, while I think is kind of a cool building, I mean, it's also been vacant for, 10 years now. And so, let's do something with it. And if we can put up another design that's maybe consistent with the architecture that's downtown, then it would certainly be a great addition. So, it's all about progress. It'd be great to keep some of these old buildings, but if they're kept vacant, well, what's the point in that? Let's get them occupied, people down there, and some activity going on, a little economic development.
So that's going to be basically that's going to kick off the meeting today after they do the minutes from the previous meeting. That'll be the big presentation, and that'll kind of kick off the meeting today. Now, further on down into the routine agenda is a subject that we talked about in great length yesterday, and that is having to do with some budget amendments with the police department. Of course, if you missed it yesterday, this is going to be item 7 on the routine agenda today, a fiscal year 2024 budget amendment increasing the police department's transfers and other charges. $200,000 is what they want to add into that section of their budget, and decreasing personnel services, which does include salaries and regular, is how it's listed here. Decreasing that from $200,000, basically moving funds from that portion of their budget into that special projects for the upgrades they want to do to security systems and whatnot. Kind of a broad brush right there with cameras and whatnot down at the police station. Of course, that's stemming from the February 1st shooting that happened involving someone that was in custody and somehow got their hands on a gun and shot a police officer.
Sure.
So they want to do some improvements there at the police station with cameras and some other security procedures, as far as equipment and whatnot there at the police department. So that's what they want to do with the money there.
And obviously that money has not been spent because they're understaffed at this point. So even though they were budgeted for a certain amount of officers, they have yet to fulfill those positions. Now that money will still remain unspent in this budget in this fiscal year. So either, you don't spend it, it can roll over to the next year. You could use it for bonuses or various other things within. Obviously, that would have to go to the budget or the council as well. But, you can upgrade certain facilities. I mean, I wish they would upgrade training and that sort of thing. Certainly spend it on that. But what I'm hoping is that this doesn't also translate to those funds being used in that regard for the next budget. And so that it would revert back to personnel so that we would then have the opportunity to hire those police officers when August, I think, is when the fiscal year begins. Is that right?
That's when they start
September?
Discussing the budget, because I want to say the next budget's got to be approved for October.
October, okay.
So October,
So there's a few months left, but, obviously, a lot of months left.
And also there's some items on the presentation agenda today, including security services for Meridian facilities and events is also on the budget for today as well.
Private security?
That's a good question. Yeah, it says security services for Meridian facilities and events is item B on the presentation
police
agenda.
Department security for
Who knows? We'll take a break.
All right.
We'll be back. Well, it's Eddie Grant's birthday today. He's 76. Little Electric Avenue this morning on Mornings in Meridian.
Fantastic song. You know, it's about immigrants who weren't given the benefits they wanted.
How fitting, right?
Yeah, but it's a great protest song. I mean, it's really, if you listen to it, it's very powerful. But it is about Electric Avenue's, I think, South London, and it's where some government offices were. So we're gonna go protest. We're not getting what we need.
I just got to go back to this agenda once again. I got to go back to this section right here.
Okay,
it's bothering me.
Let's do it.
Presentation agenda today at the City Council.
Mm-hmm.
Notification of legal advertisement. You have energy service providers, and that section right, security services for Meridian facilities and events.
Security services for.
So basically, we got to hire.
Well, no, wait a minute. Okay, so let's divide that by two and say facilities and events, two different things, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so facilities, security. I don't know. I don't know.
Event?
Frank Cochran Center. I mean, what are we talking about exactly?
Yeah.
I mean, what do we need security for? But do we want to put police officers on patrol around the Frank Cochran Center or whatever it's going to be? I mean, Frank Cochran just came to mind, but
I don't want to go down there.
Well, it could
Not
be
that part of town.
any other facility.
Yeah.
But special events, you would think, okay, that would be under the purview of the MPD. You know what I mean? Whether that's just any event on City Hall or
inquiring minds would like to know.
What are we talking about? What events and why would we need extra security for it?
All right. And, of course, the third item on that list is bids for highway right-of-way grass cutting, which it's grass cutting season.
Yeah. Well,
so there you go. So there you go. Bidding out for grass cutting. So there you go. Let's go to the phone.
Goats out there.
Yeah, exactly. The Meridian goats out there. Our new mascot.
The goats.
The goats.
The greatest of all time. Not quite, but.
Hey, caller, welcome in.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing today?
Hey, Zane.
Morning. He called us gentlemen.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was taught to be kind.
All right.
Zane, don't know if you caught it earlier this morning, but Roger B. checked in from Parts Unknown this morning.
I heard that. Do not mark him as present.
I'm not. He does not get. He does not get the gold star today.
No.
Yeah, he was fishing for it, but
we ain't playing that game.
Hey, I don't want to debate the point of why we have security, but Union Station is one of those with private security.
Right.
And they do a jam-up job.
Good.
They really do. I don't know what it's costing, but there's somebody down there all the time, and they watch over everything. He's always walking around and patrolling, and it's I think it's a very good thing, not knowing what it costs. So I guess I could reserve my opinion until I knew.
But Zane, I wonder, is that paid for by Amtrak, Greyhound, a combination of all three, the city, Amtrak, Greyhound? I mean, how does that,
I knew that was a big item with the council not too long ago when they talked about that. That was a big discussion when they were looking to get the security for that. So I'm not sure. I'm kind of like Charles. I would assume the city is picking up a good portion of that. I don't know.
I would say the city's probably signing the check on that, but where that money comes from, who knows? It probably comes from a little bit of everything.
It comes from others, actually.
But
Anyway.
a lot of money down there.
Sure.
Taxpayers. That's where it's coming from.
But they are going to move $200,000 today. You would think that vote's going to go through with the council to move $200 from the personnel services into the, I guess, special projects fund for the upgrades for the police station. That's going to happen today.
Yeah, so $200,000 for cameras, man. I wish I was still in the camera business.
Yeah, I know.
I know, right?
Hey, they put them out for bids. I mean, I wonder what the process is. For that.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, okay.
But anyway, hey, to step back, today is Super Tuesday.
It is Super Tuesday.
That is not because. Yes, that is not because of the election going on today.
It's hockey.
That is because it is Ann's birthday today.
Hey! Ann's birthday!
That's why it's Super Tuesday, or at least for me, anyway.
Okay.
So just between us three, what are the plans?
Well, I don't know. She's one of these that doesn't want to celebrate birthday.
Oh.
And if I told how old she was, I would be instantly terminated.
Yeah, because she would send Joe out on a hit to take you out. So
That's it.
Probably so, because her and Joe are, that's almost scary. Those two will become buddies.
That's trouble.
Oh,
Yeah.
no.
You set yourself up for that one.
yeah, that happened. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I did that. I that was self-inflicted, but I didn't think ahead on that.
Right.
So, well, happy birthday to her, and hope she has a great birthday today.
Right,
so.
but you better make some plans, because even when they say, "Oh no, don't get
Exactly,
me anything," don't get me anything. Yeah, I've tried that one
Exactly.
before and didn't get anything, and then I was in big
Guys,
trouble.
don't
You
fall
mean you
for
didn't get
that
anything?
trap.
That's
Don't
what you
fall for
said.
it. Don't fall for it.
Right, so you better make some plans, get
It's
some
a trap.
flowers, and do the right thing.
Yeah. So
Call Aubrey, she'll
I've
hook you up.
fallen into traps like that before. I
All
won't
right.
do it with her.
Yeah, give Aubrey Flory a call and get that squared away.
Mm-hmm. At least,
Yeah,
at the
we
very
will
least,
take care of
flowers.
that.
But you know you got to do more than that. So anyway.
Well, Ann's watching on Facebook right now. She just said, thank y'all.
Oh,
So she's
well,
watching on
there's
Facebook
that
right now.
surprise, but yeah. Well, happy
I'm
birthday.
surprised she hadn't already called me.
So choose your words wisely for the rest of this phone call.
I definitely will not talk about her age.
There you go.
You just did again. She's watching.
Yeah.
Give it a rest.
She is a child of the 50s, I'll say that much.
Oh, you didn't.
So, but anyway, I'm watching for a comment right now. Everybody's watching for a comment to pop up.
Just watch your back is what you need to do.
I'm waiting for this little
Right.
comment box to light up, and I'm going
You
to be
might
like,
need to hire some private security.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I just run down to the train station.
Yeah.
There you go. Just sit down there in the lobby.
Just hanging out
Yeah.
at the train
Protect
station.
me.
Help me.
so there you go.
Yeah, so happy Super Tuesday and happy birthday, Ann.
How you think it's going to play out tonight, Zane? Trump with a clean sweep?
Well, what's the margin of error in the poll? Yeah, probably so.
I would say if you're a betting man, is there a
Right.
guaranteed bet for tonight?
That's almost.
Yeah, I think it probably a bet would cover the spread. So I don't understand Nikki Haley. I've just my opinion has changed so much of her lately because she had it all together, and it's like why. So I hope it's going to come up with some kind of grand plan that she's working toward, and not just hanging on.
I agree. Yeah, she's almost like a petulant child, and I had a lot of respect for her at the beginning when it was all kind of coming together. Because she's so intelligent, she was like the intellectual choice.
Well, she
and
did
Trump
really-
was the emotional one.
She
and then,
did really good at the debates, I
Yeah,
thought.
But
I mean,
then
she did a great.
It just
but
has
it's
gone south for her.
It
really
turned.
has.
I
Yeah.
think once DeSantis got out and you started to narrow the field a little bit, and of course when Ramaswamy got out of the mix, when it just became head to
Although you
head.
see him on the news all the time.
Yeah, you do
so.
see him on the news all the time, but that's when it got a little tough for her. But Zane, I said earlier this morning, if things go the way we think they're going to go tonight, the speech should be the dropout. I'm dropping out, but do it with grace, do it with a lot of respect for the party, and that's going to buy her points down the road. You would think.
Yeah.
You would think.
That's it. Hopefully, we'll return to the old Nikki because she is a very graceful person.
Yeah.
And I just like I say, I'm worried about her. She's like, what the heck has done got into you, girl?
And Zane, we do have comments flooding in to Mornings of Meridian. Michelle,
I see that.
Michelle says, "Good answer, Zane. And give him a break. He's a good guy." And Ann says, "I'm old and admit it." She says, "I love you, Zane Royal." And then Michelle goes on to say, "Hey, it's a privilege denied to many, so I'm fine with old." That's what Michelle
There
said.
we go.
So there you go. So, but happy birthday,
Michelle
Ann.
is one of my oldest and dearest friends. I don't even want to talk about how long I've known her. It goes back, I think, to kindergarten. And so, thank you, Michelle.
There you go. So, well, we hope Ann has a happy birthday today. I hope it's going to be a good day for her. So,
I think it will.
good deal.
So, Buddy, I take her out to eat tonight.
Oh, Buddy. There you go. How is Buddy, by the way?
Man, Buddy, he's got such a big head from doing that thing on the history walk. He thinks that's just the coolest thing in the world.
I was
So,
going to say, has he
just-
finally come back down to earth yet or not?
No, because he was front page of the Meridian Star. He was on the WTOK News.
Yeah.
He's been running on a rotation commercial on Channel 30 Family, and he's just like, this is so cool. And just,
I'm going to nominate him for the
everybody loves
Max for induction.
Induction into the
Yeah,
Max
I
Hall
think
of
so.
Fame. Yeah.
We get a
He
star on
probably
Front
needs
Street.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
we'll do some.
But the worst thing, when you say dog, what do you say, buddy? And he's like,
Everybody knows my name.
They know me.
They know my
He's like,
name.
I'm
That's
a rock
right.
star. Everybody
Yeah.
knows me.
Yeah, Michelle just said now he's telling our age.
Hey, I just said kindergarten.
That's true. He didn't say when kindergarten
I didn't say
was.
what year.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
What year was that?
you have at least that much grace. So
Okay.
there you go.
Well, I think it was probably just
Yeah,
an
that's
error.
it.
I don't know about Grace.
Right. Error.
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. It was that
exactly.
year.
Awesome deal. Well, take care of Ann today on her birthday.
And Buddy.
And Buddy. Yeah,
Yep,
Buddy, too.
the celebrity.
So there you go. So anything
Yeah, I'll
else?
do that. Buddy's is June 1st, so I'll call back in for his birthday in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
We shall circle that date on our calendar.
Absolutely. Well, Zane, have a good day. Anything else going on down at the graphic shop?
On Rubush.
That's about it. Just working, putting it out, printing. You know how that works.
That's
Working
right.
on a radio station vehicle.
Oh,
Wow.
I know which one.
Finishing up a radio station vehicle this week.
I know which one you're talking about.
All
So,
right.
very good.
Yep, that's it.
Very
It'll be,
graphic.
the 3 of 3.
There you go. 3 of 3 out in our parking lot out here. It's good looking stuff. So very good.
That's right.
All right, Zane. Well, have a
you
good
guys
day.
have a wonderful day. Take care.
All
All right,
right,
you
so-
too.
and happy birthday once
Right.
again. So there you go. Birthday
Order
shout
the flowers, Zane.
out. Yeah. Do the right thing.
I don't need nothing.
We're not going to celebrate you.
No,
Right. Wrong. No.
Never fall into that
Yes.
trap, folks.
That is a
Never
trap.
do
It's a
that.
trap.
So, before we move along here, we need to thank one of our great sponsors. Ty Booker is now running things down at Premier's. Danny Shelton has moved off into the retirement years. And, of course, I tell you what, he's left the shop there at Premier in some fantastic hands. Premier Paint and Body.
So Danny's playing golf. And
Yeah,
Ty's working
right.
hard.
Ty's working hard.
That's right. They've been providing the best auto body work and quality paint jobs for over 30 years. Man, been doing it a long time. Over 90 years combined experience amongst that hard-working, dedicated staff. And, of course, their results are like new. No job is too small or too large. You got a ding, a dent, a scratch, or something worse. Bring it down to Premier Paint and Body, located right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Their number, easy to remember, 601-482-PAINT. 601-482-PAINT. And, of course, they'll give you a free estimate. They'll work with your insurance companies, and all of their work has a lifetime warranty. There's a reason they call them Premier Paint and Body, because they are the premier paint and body shop in town. Right next to Johnson Dodge on Highway 39 North, 601-482-PAINT.
All right, very good. Our number here at Mornings Meridian, once again, 601-485-9190. When I was looking at the delegate total for tonight, and I want to say it's 854 delegates altogether for Super Tuesday tonight. I had the number pulled up here earlier. Like I said, I got so many screens open right here. Trump cannot secure the delegates needed tonight if he is to clean sweep it, because remember, he's not going to be able to secure all 854 tonight because a lot of these states have different primary systems. Some are closed primaries. Some of them have shared delegates. It's a kind of a confusing process, because you would think, all right, if you win a state, you get all the delegates, but it doesn't work that way. So Nikki Haley will get a sliver of delegates tonight. It won't be that many, but she'll get a sliver of them. But Trump will not mathematically have enough delegates to have the required amount, so it'll be next Tuesday that he'll have mathematically be there on March the 12th.
That's assuming that he wins a sweep tonight, even though Nikki will have a certain percentage, as you said. Yeah. And I guess win, what is it, Mississippi, Georgia? Is there anybody else next Tuesday?
Let me look that up here.
Okay.
But yeah, March 12th.
But so it should be a foregone conclusion by mid-March anyway.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah,
Should be.
Should be after tonight, really. Let's see.
Well, yeah, you're right.
Let's see. March 12th voting. As you said, Mississippi, obviously. Of course, we got the big Senate race coming up here. Let's see what we got. They make nothing easy at all trying to find it here. Let's see. The presidential primaries. Here is a listing right here. March the 12th, you've got Georgia. That's when they will go to the polls. Let's see here. Mississippi and Washington State.
Oh,
Those are the
okay.
only states going to the polls on Tuesday of next week.
Okay.
So, yeah, very limited number there next week. So you would think with the delegate numbers that we have right now that he should clinch it officially as far as the delegates are concerned by next week.
Sure,
So,
and we talked about earlier the 15 states that are up today. The range of of Trump's lead in the polls is, I think 27% was the low end of that, going all the way up to about 70% in Tennessee as far as his lead goes.
Yeah.
That's the lead, not 70% of the vote. It means 90% of the vote.
yeah.
I mean, or 80 compared to 10, 15 for her. So it's huge. Huge.
And as far as March the 19th, you have a handful of more states. You got Arizona, Florida.
Oh, that's a big one.
Illinois, Kansas is also on March the 19th. And then you have Ohio. That's
another big one.
It was a big swing state once upon a time, but it's been pretty solid.
Well, a lot
red.
of delegates though there anyway. So
so that's the next states rather on March the 19th, and the rest of the states, Pennsylvania and whatnot, will be in April, and then a handful of states there in May and even into June.
Okay,
will be primary.
the relevant ones.
So by that point, the dust should be settled and it should be done. So got a few more comments flooding in here on Facebook. David over on YouTube wants to know, where is Hazmat? We have a Hazmat request.
No,
We're looking for
him.
We're looking for the Hazmat this
Wow.
morning. So Hazmat, you have been called out on Facebook this morning. So
No hotel room with Roger. I don't want to know. Okay.
So a Hazmat request from the YouTube world. So there you go. We're going to take a break here on Mornings in Meridian and wrap up the show after this. And we might have time for a Haz call at 601-485-9191. We'll be back.
All my cares away. I wake up to a sunny day, 'cause I love a rainy night. Yeah, I love a rainy night.
All right, we got just a few minutes left until Glenn Beck takes over here on WALT. Of course, then Clay and Buck will be on at 11. Mr. Martial Arts himself, Sean Hannity.
Oh, I didn't know he knew martial arts.
It's the never-ending joke.
I know, is it?
And then Joe Pags, of course, on your drive home a little bit later on here on WALT. Of course, Roger will be back tomorrow.
Allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly. After some Super Tuesday action later on this evening, of course, keep it right here to WALT. Throughout the evening, we'll have a lot of updates on Super Tuesday results as they start to quickly pour in from all these states, especially on the East Coast. A lot of the polls will be closing around 7 o'clock. Some will close a little earlier than that, obviously, at 6 because of the Eastern time zone, that being Maine, North Carolina, and a handful of others, rather. And we'll start to see some races called very early tonight, you would think, because I remember what was it, South Carolina, they called it with like in a matter of just minutes.
9:01.
Yeah, it was like literally like boom.
When it opened, they called it, I think. But anyway.
So, but I think a lot of that will be called fairly early tonight.
Right.
So
California, they're getting their snowshoes ready, and they're going to hike to the polls.
Hike to the polls.
There
There you go.
12 feet of snow in some areas.
Good Lord, man. What is this?
That's a lot of snow. Well, that's the understatement of the year, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
That is a hell of a lot of snow.
So, yeah, we'll have a lot of Super Tuesday reaction tomorrow morning, and we'll see where we stand with Nikki Haley. I think that's really the only question going into tonight is that situation, I think. So.
I think that's one of the questions. The other is how big of a margin, how much of a, I mean, is it going to be 80% in some states? I mean, it's a pretty clear message if that's the case. So, and that would be interesting to see. And if the poll numbers have gone up since those were probably taken over the weekend. So if the Supreme Court decision yesterday had any bearing on those poll numbers, if they shifted them in Trump's favor a little bit as well. So, be interesting to look at that. It'll be a Super Wednesday as well, for that matter.
Absolutely.
In our analysis.
The analysis, the Fox analysis. So. But before we get out of here and Glenn Beck takes over, we need to thank one of our advertisers. And I tell you what, in the words of Hazmat, don't be a dumb bunny. Go to Battery One Source there on North Frontage Road and John Dufour. Yeah.
We're never spoken. That's right. John Dufour and his crew. Go see him, 2618 North Frontage Road, in between exit 152 and 153. They've got batteries for every need and description. Watches, remote cell phones, even laptop computers. And, of course, if you got a golf cart and it ain't running, bring it down there, because golf cart service and repair is also another part of their business down there at Battery One Source. Open 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, and, they're just wonderful folks down there. They have every kind of battery that you would need. 601-693-1500, 2618 North Frontage Road. Battery One Source is your one source for batteries.
And, of course, we'll do our due diligence to get some updates from the City Council meeting, which is scheduled to get underway here in just moments down there at City Hall. Just a couple of items that we've really focused on the last couple of mornings with their agenda. So we'll see what transpires down there with the meeting coming up in just moments there at City Hall. So a lot to unpack tomorrow here on the program. So, but final prediction for tonight from you, Mr. Frazier.
Clean sweep.
Yeah.
And I think, I do think Nikki Haley will drop out. I think that she will concede and just say, I didn't win anything. I mean, it's time to go. And I think she'll do a graceful exit. I think that's her only strategy at this point, to kind of maintain face and also maintain her political career.
I'm going to go home.
I'm going to vote for Trump. That's what I don't know if she'll say that. And it may not be an actual endorsement of Trump. It may just be like, you know what, I don't see a path forward. So,
She may just keep it pretty general instead of that.
Right.
Yeah.
And then in the future, endorse him, or at least throw a little bit of support behind him.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean,
kind of let the dust settle
I
from
just
this
think the way
tonight.
the numbers look, it's overwhelming.
Yeah.
And it really is. So, anyway, I could be wrong.
Avalanche of news this week for sure.
Yep.
It's a lot of it. So, well, hey, folks, have a great day, and we'll join you again here tomorrow, 7 to 9. Of course, be safe out there. A lot of rain moving in with thunderstorms this afternoon, so do be safe when the school buses start to roll as well. So we'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7. And, of course, Charles, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Folks, have a good day, and, of course, buy local.
Lights up the sky.